Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing good today. I am. I'm looking forward to starting this project for reals now. We've sort of been playing around with a lot of different things. Like our entire front end here has been languishing as we haven't done anything with it. We sort of like experimented with a bunch of different front end frameworks, and we experimented with how to get any kind of, what would it be? Any kind of like a web assembly? No. Uh, WebSockets. That's what it is. Words. Clearly, I need my caffeine today. So, um, stacking. Hello. I clicked the start button early today, but it took my normal time. I know. So I was gonna be early. And then I went to take to lift the lid that I have off of my tea from steeping, and it caught the what is it called? It caught the edge of the tea stream thing, like the strainer, and then lifted that out and then dropped it back in and spilled tea all over my desk and a little tiny bit on my keyboard. I cleaned that up. Hopefully the keyboard is fine. I tried to like shake water out, but no water came out, so, or tea came out. So anyways, maybe the keyboard's a little bit caffeinated today then. So that's why I would have been a little bit early had I actually, not dumped tea on my desk. Also, now my desk is probably going to be stained a light shade of tea. That's cool too. All right, so what are we doing here? Deck card simulator. We have this readme so like all of the experimentations we're going to do. So this is really just there we go. Figuring things out. I also somehow accidentally, because when I was trying to clean water off the keyboard, I then hit the function key, which makes everything weird. So let's head. Oh, it's still here. All right, so my idea is that we're going to create the front end and set this up first. There's absolutely nothing in here. So we are going to be, we did choose that we're going to be using Vue. I was actually thinking for like a future project, one of the ideas is like an actual Brooks Builds website that I can send people to. And that's probably, I'm thinking we're going to take a look at Vue again and see how that is. That might be cool to like put little mini games and other stuff in that in there. Alvin, hello, good day, good morning. How are you doing? Okay, so with you, I want to, what do we want to do? We want to open up a terminal. Bet I could open that up easier with the command prompt. So we're going to use nvm use 14, which is LTS. And the big reason to use LTS is because a lot of the deployment options, they just have LTS installed. Sometimes you can go higher, but then after that, you're going to need to like do your own install. So like, maybe EC2 instance on Heroku or DigitalOcean Droplet or Linode or whatever, then yeah, you need to start like managing it yourself. And I don't really necessarily want to do that. Okay, so if I'm gonna CD, I don't need to CD anything. We're already right here. We're gonna do I think Vue is already installed. So I think I can do a Vue create dot. Yes. All right, let's manually select our features. So we're gonna choose a view version. Babel's fine. I think we're gonna need a router and Vuex. I've not really been using CSS preprocessors recently. Let's throw in end-to-end testing. All right. We'll use Vue 2, so I can use all of the nice Vue helper stuff. Yes, history mode. Okay, so let's. What do we want? I've been going back and forth with ESLint with standard and ESLint with prettier. I have prettier installed. We can just try. I want to try ESLint with prettier. See how good or terrible it is. So lint on save. We use Cypress. Dedicated configuration files, I think, is best. Nah, not really. Just ask me again every time. I might change my mind. And then we get to wait for the fun, long, anytime you open up a Node.js project, installing all the Node packages. You know what's really fascinating is that when it comes to CI/CD, this is the step that takes the most time, because I've seen front ends, front end code take like 10 plus minutes to go through CI/CD. Like install and setup is like where 90% of that time is. Then it gets those tests. Cypress takes another like 9% of that up because it's it's not considered fast, but once it's in there, it's it can go pretty easily, especially when it's doing headless mode. And then it just like test. Okay, you're done. You did your 500 tests. They all passed in 20 seconds, and now you're good to go. But this part, every single time. I suppose if I used Yarn, it would cache them locally. Is that true? Or is that not really a feature with Yarn? I remember Yarn was claiming to be faster, but then they slowed down again a little bit. And that NPM just took all the features of Yarn and incorporated them. So I'm not really sure what we get out of Yarn anymore. Maybe? Oh, just freeze? No. I also like how my computer is starting to have its fans go up with the same level of difficulty that it is to compile Rust stuff. Although my CPU is at 1.0, so that's not too bad. Oh yeah, and Cypress is a huge install. That's the one that hurts the most, I think. All right, so do an npm run serve here. Get this going. And so I mentioned yesterday that I'm going to do essentially front-end driven development, or design-driven development, I suppose, is an alternate, except we didn't really do very much actual design. Probably the design will be done in code. Okay, so the first thing is let's get rid of this like ugly web page and like take out all this boilerplate. So assets, yeah, we don't need this logo. Components. We could create like the hello world component, but I don't know if we really need to, so I'm just going to delete you too. Router, so we can remove this route, and we'll probably have another route later. But like this home one is fine. Okay, so then we have our store. Nothing's in the store yet. That's probably fine. Okay, so about, we don't need you. Home here, we want to change this. I mean, at this point in time, we don't even need like a script. I don't even know what I want to put in here yet, so we're just gonna go. I've been enjoying just doing like sections for these recently, and then we can just do like an H1, or I don't even know if I need H1. Just gonna do home. Then app.view. Okay. So we're not going to router link to about. Like this can be. We'll do our div. Oh, we probably want the router too. The router view. Okay, so don't really need you. Don't need this router nav. Okay, we'll just put the router view there, and I'm gonna get rid of all of these styles. Okay, so that's app, and then main just pulls these things in, and we're fine here. All right, and I think we're good and we're set up. So we can just do installed view and moved boilerplate. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do here is install a CSS reset. It's something that I do with almost all of my projects. I wonder, is there a good CSS reset in npm? There's like a lot of these. The other one is just a Google search for CSS reset. And the one I usually choose is this one right here. And it's just this entire file. It's no problem whatsoever. If you just take this and in assets, you can throw in CSS set CSS, I guess reset. Maybe not with a capital R. Then we'll throw you in here. And then in our app view, Let's pull in. Okay, so let's actually have a script. I haven't learned the composition JS UI. I might do that later, like some other time. Right now, I'm just gonna keep with the class base, which is like just the normal, traditional one. I was thinking when we go to view 3, then I'll probably go to composition. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is import. Actually, I think it's just assets set.css. And if we come here, okay, so before I do this, this is what it looks like. With this in there, you notice that it like comes out a little bit. There's a little bit of margin. So the reset completely resets all styles. So we have to do that ourselves, but it will now look the same on every single on every single browser. And that's like one of the key things for like, I guess not having to use a framework, like a CSS framework, is use a reset. Otherwise, it's, yeah, it gets crazy and weird. Okay, so if we do this, what's the, well, you know what a bigger thing is? Let's also make sure that we have a style here. This one probably won't be scoped, so that way I can just do this across everything. So we're gonna do for the body, background color, and let's make you really dark. Like close to, if I do something like FFFF, no, 0, so like maybe with that. So nice and dark here, so we can have light colored whatever, like text. Now I don't know for certain if I need any kind of nav bar for this for our landing page, which is going to be home. Right now we just have this, you know, home here. So we probably want to like update this. I'm thinking this is where we're going to have like the choice. Are you going to create a new room, or are you going to join a room? Let's see. So probably easiest thing to do, we could have like a top nav bar. And then we can have like links in there if necessary. Why a nav bar? Nah, no necessary reason. We don't have to have one either. We would, I guess like the nav bar could be just like a title bar of, yes, like the title bar type thing would happen here above router view. So we could have something like a main title, H1. Yeah, if there's no places to nav to, I mean, there is one place to nav to, but there's probably a different way to get there. So let's do card, deck of cards, simulator. Now we notice this is all nice and dark, so let's, in our style, just to, well, I guess this will make sense. For these H1s, actually, for our default color, let's set this to something like Nice and bright. You veto navbar? Okay, well, we're gonna veto navbar right now. Until we find a reason to have a navbar. I agree with that. Let's do it. What's a good color for like text? This blue isn't bad. I think that would look pretty good on here. Is there an eyedropper? Oh, I think I can get an eyedropper off here. Oh, I can only eyedrop in. Oh, okay. I was really hoping I could eyedrop anywhere in like the application, like anywhere in the window, but no. Okay, so I bet I can install a extension for this. I'm guessing this won't work for me. Okay, so color chooser, color pick. Okay, let's try color pick. Also, hello Chantilly. Color pick. Open a color picker from any file. Oh, nice. Okay, let's do it. How do I use it? Pick the pick color command. Okay, so pick color. Oh, I can't choose that color, can I? So if I want, and it froze. All right, that is not working for us. So sorry, we're gonna remove it. It was a good allow here. That was a good try. Let's go. Let's see. So this is like a light blue. We can do. How about this light sky blue? There you go. How easy is this to read? Now, what I can also do is for this specific section, you can read that. Awesome. Okay, so for this specific section, we want to give class of, like, this is just the main app. So I want to give a margin of like 1 rem around this, or like pull this in by how much I want to do. Okay, so everything will be sort of like indented in a little bit. This home is showing because that's what the position we're in right now. I could even put like a margin below this, but I don't think it's really necessary. Okay, so for in home, we know we want to add, we want 2 things. We want a button. We want a button to pick something, to like create a game or join a game. So there's a really cool project, MWC I have to always search for it. MWC components. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. So these are true web components. So they can be dropped into any project. It doesn't matter if you're using Vue or React or Angular or just native. You can just pull these into anything. So here they have these MDFC buttons. So if I want to use it, here's what they end up looking like. If we don't like them, then we can like recreate them ourselves. I think we might have other buttons elsewhere. My Vue component library isn't ready yet, so I can't start using that. So in preparation, I'm going to, in components here, we're going to create a button. And this have our template and a script. I don't even know if I need that. Here do need to install you. So you can install these one-off as you need them, and then you can just pull them in. You don't need to do any like Vue use. You don't need. There's no external style sheets that are necessary. Everything is included inside of them, which is really awesome. So we can do a imports, and this is going to be the material MDC button. And then inside of our template, could have, I guess it's not really a section. So we can just do this here. Do MWC button. So I can do like a label test. Close that up. Oh, I need to tell Krieger that we're on Windows. Not going to be happy with us. Or I need to do development inside of Vim, which I don't have that set up for good development, nice development. Okay, so then in app, home. I want to pull in this button. Do a script. So here we're going to do an import. It's going to be button from. And we need to say that we're going to use this. So our components. Button. And then here, I believe we can then. I don't even need that button there. We should probably rename this from like button to like, custom button or something. Because like, obviously, button is a thing. Let's rename you. Custom button. Okay, so I should be able to do custom button. Close like that. But you're unhappy. Can't access property render. Options is undefined. Do I not? Oh, I think I need to also do that export default of like an empty object like that. And then we're fine. So here's our custom button here. And it works as kind of as expected. We can change the color on that. I don't know. How readable is this test? It's pretty dark purple. In our custom button, we're probably going to want to take in some properties where we can say our label, and you're going to be a string. Okay, readable for the purple. All right, I'll keep it for right now. So now you're empty because in here we're going to do custom button, and then label equals. Let's do create game. So create game shows up here, and we can create that. Our other choice is to join a game. But we'll probably come to that later. Okay, so we have that. If I want to, let's see, when I create a game, I want to actually send a like, what is it? Send a web component, no, WebSocket request. Actually, I kind of want to open up the WebSockets right when we start. So we should set that up too. So in our store, I'm still thinking of like storing the WebSocket stuff in here. There might be some weird stuff that we run into, but I don't know a better way to do that yet. There's probably some like WebSocket view plugin we can use, but I don't know if I don't know how much I want to use one of those. Okay, so we know we need to store the WebSocket here. So we have our WebSocket, and we're going to initialize this as null. So in our mutations, we're going to want a set socket, bring in a state and the web socket. I'm going to do a view dot set state socket. And in our actions, we're probably going to have like some kind of init initializer for our state here. Probably like maybe we can have an init the entire app, and then that can dispatch to like all the different things potentially. Let's do okay, we're gonna have a connect socket, connect to server maybe. All right, so we're gonna have a commit, and I don't know what else I need, and I don't think I need to pass in anything. So const socket equals socket. You take in a URL, so this is going to be our process.env dot. What should this be? This is going to be the socket URI. actually do this one step at a time. Fine, I won't pull you in. Okay, so this won't happen until I tell it to happen. So in our app, we're gonna have to have for default unmounted. Do this dot store dot dispatch connect to server. What did I copy? I think I copied that entire line. All right. I'm hitting all the wrong keys today. Okay, so we're getting undefined here. Now that's because we don't have a .env. So outside of here, let's just create a new file, name it .env. And inside of here, we can have a web socket for I. And if I set this for just something like that, we don't get anything that should load it. Index line 18. Oh, you know what we need to do? I keep on forgetting this. I need to actually restart the server because whenever you change like a environment variable, you have to restart the npm run server because that's when it loads them up. So once we have that, that just still didn't work. Oh, right. And then the other thing is I keep on forgetting these. Nothing like these colors for the mature eyes. Oh, they're beautiful colors, right? View app. I have to do view app. And then in here it is that. There we go. So now we can get what that is. So I think for this one, this is going to be WebSocket : host 9001 is what we've been using. So notice that this is still that old one. We have to kill this and restart it. And so there we go. So there's our URI. And so then I want to actually connect. I'm going to pass in the URI. Now this should fail. Let's see. Let's also do we can do our commit immediately. We want to do a commit to set socket and pass in WebSocket. And okay, so cannot establish a connection to this server. While we have this cannot establish a connection here, we probably want to have some kind of error message if this happens. So if I do a try around this, I'm curious, will I get console.error dot error connecting to socket? What error do we get? Oh, it doesn't do it. A try catch. Oh, cool, nice. Okay, so it's not a try catch error. That doesn't work. You just return that WebSocket. Can I get anything from this? WebSocket dot. Oh. On air? Returning errors. What do I think this is? 2021? Yeah, I know. Okay, so on air is a property. Okay, let's try console logging this out. Let's see what that is. Oh, it's null. Wonderful. Okay. I bet I need to set up. Oh, can I? Okay. So WebSocket dot add event listener error. Then we have the event. It's probably an error. Let's try this. There we go. Got a real error now. So that's what we need to do. All the cool kids just return errors -1 to -5 these days. Oh, come on. Or just have an event listener listen to it. That's just as good. Okay, so this is how we can like set up our error for this. If we have an error, so we want to throw in error. Do I want like a message for this? So we can set this to like be an initial empty string. So in this case, I don't think we need to like set that there, but we could want to have a commit to set message. Couldn't connect to game server. Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna do a set state message. So I've seen some people do some like a clever mutation where it's just like setting the top one, you pass in what you're doing. I don't know how I feel about that, because like sometimes we might want like custom stuff. It's like just because they're the same right now, it doesn't mean they're always going to be the same. And I want to leave that freedom open. and like not tie code together if it's possible. Okay, so given this, I guessing we don't need. So what we probably want to do is do a console.error still, and we'll throw in this error. So like we'll log that out, and then that would replace something like, you know, a Sentry connection or something like that where we'd like get a log out. But then we want to commit set message and cannot connect to game server. Please try again later. Probably should do something like this. Okay. Now, if we take a look at our view state here, we see that the message here is cannot connect to game server. Please try again later. There's a cool message system that Material Web Components has. Let's see, what is it called? I think it's a snack bar. Yeah. On a snack bar, so let's go ahead and install this. It's a little bit evil because it is a web component, but evil is fine. Okay, so we're gonna do this in app. So we have to create this MWC snack bar. So we're going to import that. Then we have to create this inside of here. We're going to do it at the very, it's at the bottom of the screen, like always set at the bottom of the screen. I believe we do need to have an ID. There's going to be a message. Okay, so then we have this label. This is going to be, I guess, message, which could be good or bad. So if I don't set that, oh, and then we need to do this other thing. So we have to query it and then tell it to show because there's a method on it, and unfortunately we can't catch that method. So this is the negative about using web components, is that you can have methods on them, but they're not like super easy to use. So what I want to do is grab this snack bar and we'll throw it into data. Not mounted. Maybe I'll call it like the message bar. And you're gonna start with null. Then we're gonna have in mounted. Okay, so bar equals, so document We can use query selector, that's fine. Query selector, we have this ID message. Get that one, and then I want to store that away. So dot message bar equals message bar. If I do that, we should see in this component, message bar is an unknown component. Perfect. It is an unknown component. That's not that surprising. Now in here, what I should be able to do is say this dot message bar dot show, I think. And that message then pops up with what we want to display. So that's how it's going to work. But what we want to do is whenever we change the store, that it like watches the store and pops it up. And I've tried a bunch of different ways to like watch the store, and the best way that I can think of in Vue is to use a watcher. So we're going to do a watch. And I think in here we can do a... Oh, it's a two-pronged thing. We're also going to have computed. Oh, computed. So this is going to be the message. Turn this dot store state dot, what did we call this? Just message. Oh, yeah, don't worry about that. So if we look at this component, our message is empty right now. If we set our message to, oh, and then eventually it becomes this. So that's fine. So if we, okay, we now want to watch this computed property to see when it changes. I think that's how it can work. It's been a while since I've done this, so I might have to go to the documentation. But I want to watch message. And the handler for this is gonna be, we need methods. Show message. We'll say this dot message bar show. So message. And so are you gonna work? No. Look at that. Okay, so that showed up there. And then you, for this label message, is going to be this message here. So if I hit you, I guess it's not actually refreshing here because this component is still loaded. So I have to manually refresh. And then we get this message here. So this is a little bit complicated. Basically what I'm doing is we're storing in the message when we can't connect. And then I'm watching for that message to change to anything. And then when it changes, we're going to then run this method. And this is now going to work anywhere in the app. So as long as like in that general store, I update that message, and I've just got some nice, I've got some nice error handling. Just like right away, which I think is pretty awesome. Now what I want to do is probably set up the backend. That way we can actually connect to a server. So we are going to commit what we have here. So let's see. Handling error when there isn't a server to connect to. Okay, so that's done there. Let's head back to our backend here. And we're gonna wanna switch back over to our main function. And we're gonna start over here too. That was a really quick name change. Which one? Okay, so we're good here. Now I want to do is we just like reset initialized to app. I'm gonna go to async tungstenite and borrow what we have in as cargo log, because we know we need these. Throw them in there. Rust Analyzer is gonna have a field day with this. We are the jerks that rewrite history. Yeah. Don't like your history in your project? Just rewrite it. Nobody cares. Especially if there's nobody else in your team. Okay, so we remember that we got this working last time, but now we want to do it like actually for real. So we want to set up actually set up our connection. Now we were able to do this. I think we can actually see this code here. And don't know if I want to pull all this in. I can. Just head over into main, save all of this, and then we can run it. The question is, can we remember this from memory? No, of course not. Cheat. The answer is to always cheat. Cheat as much as possible when developing. Okay, so now we have this WebSocket server listening on 127.0.0.1. So then if we come here and I hit refresh, connection established and no message pops up. Instead, what we see is in Vuex, we have a WebSocket showing up and no message. So perfect. You just witnessed self-plagiarism? Well, that's the best kind, right? And I'm self-plagiarizing from where I plagiarized against the example code from the project itself. So does that mean I just laundered cheating? Is that a thing? Can we do that? That feels like something that can become like a, I don't know, a thing. Okay, so obviously this is pretty. Copy pasta is the best pasta. Yep, yeah, certainly it is. You throw it at the wall and you see if it sticks. Okay, so where do I want to like actually put all of this code? Because like we have this here and this is great, but what I really want to do in the front end here is when I click create game, I want it to send a message that we're going to create the game. That being said, there's a lot of sort of like just code here. And this is all in the main function. I don't know how much I like this. So I'm kind of thinking of moving this into the library. So taking run and handle connection. And I guess this would be most of these. Take you, throw you into here. Okay, so let's save both of you. You'll be upset. Oh, you can't. Oh, you can't find it because you need to be public. So handle connection is fine to be private, but async public function run. Is it the other way? Public async? Yeah, okay. Send it here. Import that. I want to use error results. Import task from async standard. Then, okay, we're fine here again. I want to switch this out to cargo watch x run. Okay, so main is looking nice. I mean, I've just sort of like shoveled a bunch of code underneath a carpet, so that's fun. We probably want like, so handle connection is going to be interesting. Because like what's actually like, we have to think about what's actually happening, what we want to happen. So here we're handling the connections for all of these. I do like the idea. Okay, so we have this pure map which is this hash map of. I know the real problem is all the useless boilerplate. So like figuring out where to like put that boilerplate is our problem. Like which rugs do we want to shove them all under? Well, if we think about it, this is essentially state, right? We have our handle connection coming in here. WebSocket connection established. Then for each of these, we can get messages from, and then like the actual work will happen down here, right? Because like this is where we're broadcasting to everyone else. Okay, and so we print line received message from blah, and then what the message is. Okay, and that's when we want, so here's when we want to like turn the message in. So message, now we can handle it. It's like this, yeah, okay, this is handle connection, but we want to have, we might want to have like a handle message function that we can then just run in here and pass the message to. And then it can deal with everything else there. And maybe it returns like a command. So if we come back to here, the first thing we want to do is when we press this button in home, we want to create a game, right? So on click, create game. Let's run the create game function. Okay, so what I should do is when I hit this, oh, you didn't work. What did I do wrong? Oh, because this is a custom button. So at click, create the game. So I need to go into our custom button, and we need to handle like pass through. So at click, handle click, methods, click, so handling events here is actually really simple. We're gonna bubble up. We're gonna say this dot emit click, and that's it. I could pass in data with this, but there's no it's not necessary to, like, in this case. It's just, hey, we want to know when it's clicked. So that should bubble up now, and we can now see that it's creating a game, and we can watch these events. So we got this click, it happened from our custom button. The events coming from like these MWC or like pure HTML, we don't actually see that in the view tools, which is another reason to use these like wrappers around them, is we can convert them into view events as quickly as possible. So when I want to create the game, like send the message to create the game, I don't want to do that from home to like dispatch. Something I've learned from front-end development is every store manipulation should happen from at the top level as possible, which is app. And so we're a child of app right now. So on this create game, I just want to emit an event. So this dot emit, and we're going to emit a create game is what we want to do. Then I want to come back to here, and in the router view, we're going to catch that and say create game. Here's where we can dispatch this dot, because we're at the top level. Store dispatch. So in here we want to create game. No data needs to be passed in. Then we go to the store. So it's sort of like a pain to set up, but once you have it set up, it's actually really nice. So, okay, we're gonna have a create game action. We could even, you know what, just to make it nice, we can put a commit in here and use that message. So we're going to commit to set message. Creating game. So creating game shows up, nice. Then we want to send an actual message back down into the WebSocket. So We probably want to like come up with some kind of standardized system for this, but we're going to want to use JSON and probably have something like command and create game, and like these would be our standards, and then they would turn into enums later. And in fact, if I use this as the exact same as the enum, so game like that, then we can do, okay, we need state out of here. Do state dot WebSocket dot send this message. Oh, and we need to JSON dot stringify the message. Okay. That's gonna be a giant action project. Yes, it is. Now, I'm thinking eventually what we're probably gonna do is like maybe break some of these out into functions that live in other files. Maybe we can even have like an API that like does all of our WebSocket stuff in there. But yeah, most of the time, like any of the complexity is gonna be really in here. So that way, if there's any problems, it's always in here. So the idea is to reduce where the bugs are gonna be. Fat objects get chewy? Yeah, they can be, yes. Okay, so this is gonna send down. So we have you sitting here like this, and when I refresh you and click that, we received message, create game. Which then we immediately panic. Oh, because I think it's trying to send. Because this is now looking for like other clients to send to, which like it doesn't have any other to send to, so it just immediately panics. Oh, that's great. That's cool. It's like that's good design there. All right, so what do we want to do with this? When we receive this message, so we received message from that command create game. Also on line 29, I debug what this message is. I don't need you. Okay, so we're gonna future ready message. Okay. Here's what this message is. And the message literally is this stringified object. So it's JSON. So time for us to pull in Serde. I need Serde and Serde JSON, I believe. What got you all upset about that? Okay, cool. Just the block. Oh, Rest Analyzer. You work 99% of the time, you work 100% of the time. And the rest of the time is just weird. Okay, so we get our message in here, and then I want to like actually figure out what the command is. So let's actually create like a command for S in here. Rust Analyzer gives you the best of times, it gives you the worst of times. It does feel like that sometimes. All right, so we're gonna have a pub enum command with creates game being in here. I want to say that Serde has something that we can like from this. All right, it's gonna be like a serialize. Oh, it's probably not gonna be a enum then, right? It's probably gonna be a struct. Oh, right. Okay, so hold on. Because inside of source we have like a message. So I think what we're gonna have is like a pub struct incoming message and then a pub struct outgoing message. Okay, so for you, we're gonna have a command and you're gonna implement a command. So then we're going to derive. Sure, we can derive debug, and then we also want to derive serialize. We have to, if I remember correctly, in our cargo toml, Serde is going to be where we have version equals that. And what is it? It's features. And in here, I think it's derive. I mean, you're not yelling at me. So in message, okay, yeah, so you're happy now? Use Serde serialize. Oh, I guess it's deserialize, isn't it? That we care about this. Okay. And then command needs to implement all right, well, I guess I gotta bring those in myself. So use Serde to serialize, debug, serialize. Okay. Then in our main library here, I want to take this message and convert it into an actual command, or I guess into a message. Like let message equals, it's like Serde JSON from stir. This is gonna be the message to text. Oh, incoming message. I'm not going to do any of this sender stuff right now. I just want to get this out and debug it to make sure that we get it. Now, this is going to be a big problem here because, like, what if I fail to like send it in the right way? I probably need to respond with like an error message rather than just crash, which would be probably nice. Okay, so you are going to be sitting here. I'm going to come with you. Okay, so incoming message command is create game. Okay, so we have the actual command now that we want to do. So perfect. So we can receive a message from front end. And in the back end, we can starting to request to create a new game. So great, we have a message. Now what? Like, I'm trying to create a new game. So we're gonna need some kind of like main state for the game in order to like know what the games are, right? So, and we're gonna want to associate those games with the WebSockets. Right now, this peer map is kind of what's going on there. We have this socket address and sender, but I'm thinking what we're probably going to do here is I think we're going to want to change this out to have some kind of like struct, and yeah, we want to like create the actual game state, which is going to hold all of the socket addresses and then the senders. And then that way we know, like, hey, because if I took a card, for example, so in this case, you created a game, you get, we are going to create a new game, create the code for that, and throw you inside of that game. And we don't really care about a host at that point in time, probably. All right. Well, that's what we're going to have to do next time. I realized I didn't have this set up. So what are you? We're going to be working on creating a game state to hold the games in. Cool, that shows up down there. I'm gonna put this back up here again. After we create the game state Holy Games, and I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do. We'll figure that out later. But it is after 8:20. So I have to get ready to go to work. I have a meeting on Tuesdays. I have like an early meeting. So that's what I'm gonna